Why were you talking to Janice Ian? To hang out with Kyle, she'd be like, why didn't you call me back? And I'd be like, why are you so obsessed with me?
So, why does pretty privilege matter? Because it's harmful. It's harmful to everyone.
Oh my God, I love your skirt. Where did you get it?
It was my mom's in the 80s.
Vintage. So adorable.
Thanks.
That is the ugliest effing skirt I've ever seen.
Three main reasons why pretty privilege is so harmful. So, number one is something known as the halo effect. So, what the halo effect means is that people that are perceived as more attractive get better treatment. It's been shown that in the legal system, people that are perceived as more attractive are convicted 20% less than more average people or people who aren't perceived as attractive. In Disney, the Disney princesses are always, they're beautiful, they're perfect. They have a standard that's completely unattainable, and the villains are usually ugly, hideous, as the trope that still exists is beautiful is good and ugly is bad. Or when I say ugly, it's subjective, but usually they're portrayed in a very hideous, monstrous sort of way, the villain. There's this idea that beauty equates good with goodness. And even with children from a very young age, it starts. They can be shown pictures of somebody who is considered beautiful or really attractive, and they will give them qualities of standards of they'll tell them, they'll say they're smarter, they're better in every way, and they're kinder, all those attributes that you cannot tell by looking at a photo of somebody. In popular culture, you see it all the time. There's the average best friend or the overweight best friend, and of course the main character is usually beautiful.
I'm beautiful!
Or even the before where maybe she's wearing glasses, or maybe she, looks more average, and then she gets the makeover, takes off the glasses, and suddenly she's beautiful, and now she's worthy somehow. It is an ingrained thing that even when people say that they don't have this prejudice, most of us do because it's so ingrained, and it doesn't mean we have to act on it, but I think awareness is really important. So, the number two main reason why pretty privilege is so dangerous is sexism. Now, are there men that are treated better because they're perceived as more attractive? Absolutely. But generally, as a rule, it still applies in a greater proportion to women. You watch a comedy and you see like the more average looking guy gets the gorgeous, stunning woman. You don't see the opposite as much. Or if you do see the opposite, it's considered like so unusual that we comment on it, where women are still very much judged by their looks. Comes a double-edged sword because then women are accused of getting by on their looks. That's the dark side to the privilege I was going to get at. So you really can't win either way. So if you're too pretty, then you're not smart or you're not accomplished and somehow you didn't earn it. And if you're too average or not good looking enough, then you're overlooked. And then there's racism. So we have made some strides with diversity and what we perceive as certain looks. But even in those, a lot of times there's a very narrow margin of what people, even in other ethnicities outside of Caucasian, are allowed to look like. And so there is still that prevailing idea of the blonde, blue-eyed, the Nordic beauty, the all-American beauty, the beach girl. That was a huge thing in the 70s, and it still persists to this day. There still is this idea of, there is this preference, there's this idea of what is considered attractive. And even the women that maybe fall outside of that, they're exotic, or they have a certain look, that is considered attractive, but then it'll be very narrow where they'll fall into within their various cultures of what is perceived as attractive or not attractive. So there is a lot of internalized and external racism also underneath this idea of pretty privilege. So I've just touched on it in a very brief way, where I'm going to be able to talk about this more and look at all the things that come into it. But I wanted to kind of do this as a bit of an introduction to why pretty privilege is so harmful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.